Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we'll be discussing my thoughts on Delta Force and how they have changed since the game's release not too long ago. And I will also be discussing some small but important Battlefield news alongside this that sort of meshes together with the whole Delta Force topic because I think, let's be honest about it guys, not many people view Delta Force as like a massive replacement for Battlefield. I think a lot of people viewed it as a bridge to cover the gap between the end of 2042 and the release of the next Battlefield, slated for some time later this year. So be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, thank you to everyone that does that, and swing by the Twitch streams, because I stream every single day at twitch.tv/enders. That link is the first link in the description. So obviously going into Delta Force, playing it for the very first time, it was obviously a huge thing for me and a lot of other people, because it kind of just came out of the blue. We weren't really expecting, or at least I wasn't expecting, a Battlefield competitor with an extraction shooter attached to it. It was kind of just a very surprising thing to happen. And for a good reason, because we don't really get many Battlefield competitors. The last one that people, for some reason, still bring up is World War III, and that game is, I mean, it's just, there's nothing going on with World War III, guys, okay? The game's been dead for a while. So with that being said, Delta Force, even if you don't like the idea of the game or the people making the game or whatever you don't like about the game, it was and still is a massive deal. And as a result, that naturally generated a bunch of hype and a bunch of interest and a bunch of expectations. But none of us truly knew what they were actually going to do with Delta Force or how they were going to deliver content or what the development or life cycle of the game was going to be like. But I think a lot of us took the approach of, okay, well, this is free, so we're just going to jump in and see what happens, you know? And I remember playing the first playtests, hated the AI, you know, still hate AI, don't like it. I'm glad that the AI are only in low population regions, as they are right now. But the first time I played this game, I was really surprised because what first struck me going from Battlefield 2042 to Delta Force was just the quality and the animations and the way everything was set up. It was extremely similar to Battlefield, actually like 99% similar, and I think they hit the nail on the head in a lot of aspects, and that was really good to see because if you know this channel, you know that I have basically started making FPS content in the worst time period ever, during the worst games ever, okay? I've only ever experienced shitty, horrible video games like Battlefield 5 and like Battlefield 2042. So seeing a competitor come out of the blue from a completely separate company was actually extremely welcome, not only for me, but for many, many people. But it is worth pointing out that this here competitor is Tencent. Okay, so that's not a small thing to consider. Fast forward a couple months and the game releases, I believe at the beginning of December. It's been such a blur already, I can barely even remember. But the game released, and, you know, for the first few weeks, there's obviously that honeymoon period. For me, it's obviously a massive opportunity because I have the chance to expose myself to a massive, massive new community of people. So whether you guys understand it or not, I have to take it extremely seriously, and I did. I ended up streaming some absurd amount of hours in the month of December, like 180, on top of making one, if not two YouTube videos a night for like 30 days straight, which was kind of ridiculous. I didn't really talk to anyone during December. It was kind of insane. But in my opinion, that's really the amount of effort you have to put in to try to capitalize on these new games coming out as a content creator. But as a player, you know, I was playing the game and I didn't want to say anything for the first like 2 weeks just to avoid like people bitching at me essentially. Because I have a reputation of, I guess, complaining too much, but funnily enough, I end up being right a lot. And that's not in my words, that's in the words of a lot of people that actually dislike me. But in the alpha, there was the whole AI fiasco, and then when the game released, I just started feeling very strange things happening. Like, you know, I complain a lot about the skill-based matchmaking and the MMR and that sort of thing. People always debate me back and forth and say, oh, well, skill-based matchmaking isn't in Delta Force, the developers said so. And then my refute to that is, well, I completely disagree with the developers. I think they're misrepresenting things. I feel the experience in-game is exactly in line with skill-based matchmaking, and so do many other people. But on top of that, I noticed, the game just isn't really wowing people. I have the unique opportunity to be live in front of hundreds of people every single day. And the general consensus from a lot of people is, oh, this is a cool game. Next. And maybe that's just the sentiment for the Battlefield mode, Havoc Warfare. I understand the Operations mode is still extremely popular. But for me as a player, I've never really been able to convince myself to throw myself into Operations yet. I'm going to have to force myself to do it, and I can be pretty stubborn, and I'm very aware of that. But so far, I haven't been able to force myself into Operations, just because I'm not interested in it. But then with Season 2, the communication around some topics was really sort of weird. I didn't enjoy a lot of the additions in Season 2, as I did document in my recent videos. Everything from them nerfing stability on weapons to adding a shield character. I'd say about 85% of the things that they added or changed in Season 2, I wasn't personally a big fan of. But in my opinion, the game is still like a solid game. But I again, like I stated at the beginning of the video, even I kind of view this game as a bridge between the last Battlefield and the next Battlefield. I'm just trying to get as much enjoyment out of it as I possibly can. But then this sort of segues into my just personal view of the entire situation regarding FPS games right now. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, again, I have like a bit of a creative block. And when I have a creative block, meaning I don't know what to make or like I don't really feel like making content, that's actually really bad. And I think that's a result of just like absolutely astonishingly massive burnout. And that's no surprise because I've streamed every single day for almost 7 years now. And I have to be honest, that has not been a very fun 7 years. In fact, it's been the opposite of very fun. It's been extremely stressful and just really hard to do because the games suck and they cause a lot of stress. So, going from BF5 to 2042 to Delta Force, there are these like little cycles in between where it's like hype, disappointment, hype, disappointment, hype, disappointment, right? And that can get, that 3 times in a row, dude, is like really, really exhausting. So I think that is kind of hurting my ability to actually play Delta Force at the moment. And of course, the obvious answer to this is, just like take a break. But I can't because if I take a break, no one watches the channel, and if no one watches the channel, no money's being made, and this is my job. So yeah, it's kind of just like rock and a hard place situation. Sometime between now and the release of the next Battlefield game, I am planning on taking probably like at least a 2-week break from streams and YouTube just to give myself like a reset period, because obviously the next Battlefield game is going to be like a huge thing. But I'm going to really try not to act like I have any control over what happens with that game, because I don't, so we'll see what EA does. I'm trying my hardest to be indifferent, but I would like to see the series succeed. And the same can be said for Delta Force, but I would like to see some different direction, hopefully being taken within the next few patches and the next season with that game, just to make it a little bit easier to enjoy. But to round off the video with like a solid statement, my current feelings on Delta Force is, I'm obviously not riding as high as I was on it at the beginning, but I'm not like super down about the game. I just think me as like a gamer and as a YouTuber and everything, like I find it really difficult to enjoy a lot of things right now in general. I'm not really that excited. I don't find the content that is successful on YouTube right now to be like very interesting to make. It's a lot of top 10s. It's a lot of repetitive stuff. I wish gameplay content was more successful, but it's just not nowadays. You kind of have to have like a 5 million sub YouTube channel to brute force that sort of thing, and I don't. So, I don't know. Just sort of going with the flow and seeing where things go, you know what I mean? So thank you guys for watching this video. I don't really know why I made this, to be honest. I'm just sort of yapping. Hopefully you guys enjoy the point of the video, though. Hope I got it across. And hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and swing by the streams, ladies and gentlemen. I stream every single day. not only on Twitch, but on this YouTube channel as well. And of course, join the Discord. That link is in the description as well. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.